Coconuts have water in them.
So this one came out of nowhere. Bluey is an educational children's cartoon coming right out of Australia, and it's been picking up a lot of steam as of late. Now, my experiences with both preschool cartoons and Australian cartoons have not been the best, so I was hesitant to check this one out for a while. But I have a friend who swears by the show, and it turns out that there are a lot of other people who also swear by it. And, Bluey is probably one of the best cartoons of the 2010s. Not the best, but I do think that even among a long string of amazing era-defining cartoons, I'd be extremely hard-pressed to keep this one out of my top 10 list. And you're probably in one of two camps with the show. You either already watched the show and you believe me about this, or you have never seen the show and wonder how something aimed at 5-year-olds can compete with the likes of Adventure Time, Amazing World of Gumball, and Friendship is Magic. I mean, we've probably all seen at least one bad preschool show in our life. Touch the TV if you're stupid! Yay! You did it! On the other hand, Bluey has animation like this. This is from the episode Sleepy Time. It wasn't the first episode of Bluey that I watched, but it was the episode that made me decide that, yes, this was a review that I was going to do. So, what's the story here? Bluey is about a family of dogs. They spend each episode learning lessons, playing games, or just living their day-to-day life. It's a slice-of-life show, and those can be very hard to describe because the premise really is the characters. Bluey and her younger sister Bingo are imaginative and can turn just about anything into a game, and their parents are often willing to indulge them, although they do know when to put their foot down and call the game over. Any summary I can give of Bluey sells it short, since on a surface level, it's not all that different from other slice-of-life children's shows, like Busy World of Richard Scarry, Roly Poly Oly, or Oswald. Not to diss those shows by any means, but Bluey takes a few steps forward that puts it far ahead of its class. It's the little details that make Bluey what it is. So let's talk about 5 of them that make this show extra special. Detail 1. The visuals. Let's start with the most obvious reason that this show is great, and that'd be its visuals. Sleepy Time is an amazing showcase of technical skill. The scale and lighting in outer space are stellar. The heavy shading on Bingo as she explores is just breathtaking. There really is something to behold in the raw scale of some of these scenes. And wow, the music. Background music tends to be one of the most underappreciated elements of a cartoon, both behind the scenes and in fandoms, so cartoons that make good use of their background music really do stand out in my mind. Sleepy Time is undeniably the best showcase of animation in the show. Just look at this comet's speed. However, even in the more down-to-earth episodes, the characters are amazingly expressive and fluid. Every character having giant eyebrows is a design choice that I wasn't on board with at first, but I gotta say, it really does help communicate emotions a lot better. The designs are simple, but that doesn't mean the characters aren't expressive. The Flamingo Queen is a good showcase of that. Throughout the entire sleepover episode, she is just on fire. Every scene is crafted with a ton of detail. Every room is filled with numerous Easter eggs and background elements. Gardens have tons of unique plants. You only get this kind of set work from shows that are major passion projects. It's a lot of extra detail that not everyone would notice. In most shows, when it comes to a mess, you might get this vaguely defined pile with maybe a doll or a teddy bear or a ball peeking out. In this show, when there's a mess on the floor, you see every single unique toy. Also, it bears mentioning, the show has a really good theme song. Detail 2. The episodes. One big thing that sets Bluey apart from most preschool cartoons is the stories that it tells, in that it's allowed to tell stories. With most preschool shows, every single episode needs to teach some kind of lesson. And it's true, most of Bluey's episodes are about some kind of lesson. Take your turn, work together, clean up your messes, that kind of stuff. But there are plenty of episodes that aren't about lessons. Sleepy Time is just a showcase of Bingo's dreams with a lot of slapstick in the mix. And I know I keep bringing that particular episode up. I swear that I've seen more than just that episode. It's just a really good showcase of everything that's right with this show. Rug Island is another one that doesn't really have an overall message. It's just Bluey and Bingo playing Island because they have a bunch of interlocking markers. One of the first episodes is about keeping a balloon from hitting the ground. And it's really refreshing. I'm not saying that this is the only preschool show that forgoes lessons every now and again. I don't have enough knowledge in the area to really make that claim, but I do like the fact that this one is able to do that. Beyond making the show more enjoyable, I do think that it's important. It's important for kids, no matter how young, to have stories that aren't there to teach messages, that are just there to entertain. For someone of the target demographic of the show, it can be a nice subversion of expectations, even if they don't really understand why on viewing. I can imagine that it makes Bluey seem extra special. Detail 3. The family. I think what appealed to me most about the show was Bluey's family, or really the show's idea of family in general. I've talked about this before, at least in my top 11 worst cliches in animation list. In cartoons, kids media in general really, bad parents tend to be the norm. Like, not just bad parents, but super awful parents. Homer Simpson strangling Bart is, or was, a running gag. Timmy Turner's parents are horrifyingly neglectful.
We don't have time to help you with your homework like good parents should. We're watching our favorite show, The Bad Parent Hunter.
Only one-upped by the Rugrats parents, honestly. It was a trope that was really beaten into the ground for a while. With older audiences, this sort of thing can work or can flop, for comedy and for story. But this isn't just a trope that's used in cartoons for older kids or adults. For example, Caillou's parents let him get away with anything, and the less said about the reads from Arthur, the better. Oh son, you got hit in school? Well, that's what you get for hitting your sister, so fuck off. Also, we're letting her take a baseball bat to your stuff, by the way. Hope you're cool with that. If you're not, get the hell out of our house. I've recently noticed that animation as a whole has been dropping the show for a while. The Simpsons has been toning down Homer. We have parents like the Wattersons from Gumball who are a lot more sympathetic, but the parents in Bluey are actually good. Like, really good. In every episode, Bandit and Chili are encouraging their daughters, and they're willing to get involved in their games. However, they know when to put their foot down and call the game over. The sleepover episode is a great example of that. When Muffin comes over, out of regard because she skipped her nap, the parents realize that she has to go to bed early. Unfortunately, they promised Bingo and Bluey that they would get to stay up late. They end up finding a compromise, and it's nice. It really is pleasant to show parents with a more diplomatic style of parenting. It's not so much, do what I say because I'm bigger and older than you. It's, do what I say because this is the reason why you should do what I say. Not only does it help communicate the lessons of the show a lot better, it makes them seem like reasonable authority figures. They're not perfect by any means. In movies, for example, Bandit is a little too comfortable with letting his kids scream and run around a movie theater. But hey, when it comes to characters, perfect is boring. Detail 4. The adults. This is kind of similar to the previous point, but I think it bears repeating. The adults in the show are written as actual characters, like actual people with actual motivations and actual character flaws, like actual adults. There's a ton of detail to their character that most kids would miss. Once again, in Sleepover, when Uncle Stripe reveals that Muffin has skipped her nap, we see Chili's annoyance. The show was written with the parents of preschool kids in mind. They engage in their own small talk, have a lot of moments and little jokes that kids probably wouldn't pick up on, and a lot of stuff that kids definitely won't pick up on.
Look, I'm keen to get it done, but Chili, she wants to keep her options open, but I don't know. Do we want any more of these things running around? Hey!
He is, talking about getting the snip. Only in the original Australian airing, though.
Yeah, I know, I probably should get it done. But I love my dog teeth.
Which reminds me, if you do decide to watch Bluey, try your best to watch the original Australian ABC airings. The Disney Plus version has a lot of censorship up to and including outright banning a couple of episodes. I mean, on some level, I kinda get it. There's some things that us prudish Americans wouldn't want 4-year-olds to know about, like France.
Neither are we. I'm from Argentina.
And I'm from France.
Neither are we. I'm from Argentina.
We're backpackers.
I didn't know that France denialism was a thing, but that's Disney for you. Seriously though, the Australian version is the only one that you should be watching. We do delve a lot into Chili and Bandit trying to strive a work-family balance, which has become a very common concern with today's adults. Yoga Ball is a good showcase of this. Bandit tries to entertain his daughters while working from home as a freelance archaeologist. Wait, how do you work from home as an archaeologist? Oh, yeah, that's how you work at home as an archaeologist. Detail 5. The humor. Bluey is funny. Like, genuinely funny.
She just likes plants. Hey, plants! I'm coming, Flamingo! I'm the Flamingo Queen!
If the Flamingo Queen here doesn't convince you, the show has a lot of slapstick as well. Bandit unfortunately gets the most of it.
What is it, Bingo? It's a grown-up. Let's eat him! Ow!
But there's a lot of times that the humor is really witty.
Beautiful, Doctor. Just keep the bandages on for 11 years.
It plays off of kid logic quite a bit. It's not the funniest show in existence, but it is a lot more funny, and funny for older audiences too, than you'd expect from an educational show aimed at preschool kids. I don't have much more I could say on this point. I could keep going on and on about specific jokes, but I think right now it's best to just sit back and watch a few episodes. There are a ton of them on YouTube right now, and each episode is only about 7 minutes long, including the theme song. On the off chance you don't end up liking it, you haven't wasted too much time. The show takes me back to the earlier seasons of Friendship is Magic, before it started dabbling in heavier plotlines and more serious stories, or the earlier seasons of Arthur before it went to hell. Bluey is something that's light and easy, and it's helpful for taking your mind off of things. Bluey really does deserve all the praise it gets, and I'm happy that I gave it a chance. I hope that you will too.